this episode, the killer writing duo of David Keogh and Alice Wells return to talk about their new horror series, John Sunshine's Lost Rock and Roll Tapes, and a whole lot more. When you're done with this episode, make sure to check out my fellow horsemen of the podcast Apocalypse, the Necromaniacs podcast, Everything Went Black podcast, and Into the Necrosphere podcast. We got you covered from everything from metal to horror, everything in between. So, hope you dig this one, and thank you for listening. All right, how have y'all been? It's been like a year or so since we last talked.
Has it? A year?
I think so. I think it's been about a year.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, not quite a year, but it feels like a year.
Well, it feels like about 10 years, doesn't it, Alice? I think.
Yeah, it's probably been like 9 months, I would say. Yeah.
9 months. Yeah, it definitely feels longer than that, I guess, because all the craziness we've been experiencing in the past, 5 years now, or even that might be it, not as long as I think it is, but it's just been a lot of craziness.
I know, it's just when you think one level of craziness is done, another level of craziness just turns up and smacks you in the face, doesn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think the next thing could be Cthulhu, so.
I'm looking forward to that, actually.
Yeah, why not? I'm up for that.
Bring it on.
Be something different. Yeah, so y'all been busy as hell. I've been, doing a lot of sharing of all the stuff you've been doing, especially with the new show and all that stuff, and that's really, really picking up a lot of steam and everything like that. I mean, it's killing it. So winning a bunch of awards and all. So yeah.
Last time we spoke to you, we hadn't even filmed John Sunshine's Lost Rock and Roll Tapes, but of course, since we've spoken to you, we filmed the pilot, edited the pilot. It's going through its second re-edit now. And we've also recently recruited the person who's going to do all the music for it, and we've got someone to do sound, we've got someone to do color, we just found someone, I think today even, who's going to be doing all the special effects on it. So it's looking good. I mean, we've seen the rough cut, and we know it's good. We're really proud of it, actually.
Oh, that's killer! Yeah, like I said, I've been seeing nothing but awards y'all winning, you're just kicking ass.
Yeah, we keep winning screenwriting awards, don't we, Alice?
Yeah, we just got our, not all of them were first place, but they, you don't really get any recognition unless you get even to the quarterfinal stage.
Yeah.
And so this past week we got our 25th placement, which happened to be another win in an international contest, winning best television screenplay, not even for the genre, but for the overall. And we won that before. Of course, some of our, bigger wins that were very exciting was the best horror screenplay from the LA Sci-Fi and Horror Film Festival. That came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And then I think we won, it was the Lit Scares International for Best Web Series. We won Best, was it horror something? I don't
know. They're coming thick and fast. It's hard to keep up with them, isn't it?
Yeah, from Oregon Screams. So they've been a few pretty darn big ones for that. And that has actually helped us move into other people's projects. So we, as Cordell Productions, which is the production company we started after we decided that we wanted to film John Sunshine and keep it rather than, hand it off to somebody. We were like, well, the best way to do that is to become the owners of it. And so we created Cordell Productions, and we now have 6 projects that we're executive producers on, either as the company or individually. And so our latest project, I think we keep up. I've got to update our website again. We're David and I are now executive producers of an indie film starring Bobby Lee from Matt and Harold and Kumar. and we've spoken to the writer director, this amazing award-winning writer director named Tiger G, and he is actually the protege of the Academy Award winner Jonathan Sanger, and he's also on the production side of producing that. So we're really excited to be part of that. Of course, being huge Bobby Lee fans. And then the other project that we got involved with after John Sunshine, and I cannot speak a lot of specifics because there is a level of sensitivity for the project, but that we're the executive producers of the mental health and horror documentary, which I think you've seen. And
Yep.
hoping to get you in contact with that team so that they can discuss it. But we're just really excited to be part of both of those projects that kind of popped up out of nowhere for us.
That's killer.
And I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've also, in the last month and a half, written a great horror screenplay, which we'll happily tell you some about. And we've already started planning our next one as well, which isn't going to be horror, funnily enough, but is going to be something that we're going to film and make ourselves. Whereas the one we've just written probably needs a budget slightly beyond what we can afford at this point. I think it's fair to say. Is that fair, Alice? Oh, there you are. Oh, Alice keeps going on mute. There you are, Alice. There you are.
So sorry. I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm not finding $5 million in change in the couch cushions, but I'm gonna keep looking.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I am looking. I literally look everywhere. So if anyone listening happens to have between $5 and I think $22 million just floating around, that's probably what we need to make this one, I would have thought.
Maybe not that much, but we are looking looking at like certain directors that we think would be a good fit, because it is retro. It has to have the look and feel of the great some of the great, not just horror movies, but like thriller, and real character based. And so I know David, I'd love for you to tell Brandon and everyone what it's.
Yeah, so I don't know if these are you can debate whether these are horror films or not. I think they are. So we think this is a cross between Gremlins, The Thing, and Jaws.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Whatever this is here, that's all horror to me. So,
well, it's called Christmas Bloody Christmas. It's about a small island off the coast of where is it off the coast of Alice? Is it Massachusetts? It's on the east coast, just off the east coast.
Yeah, it's like southern Maryland, eastern Virginia shore.
Yeah, and it's set in 1980, and it's about a green gooey virus type toxic substance that washes up on the shore, infects a few crabs, and then from then onwards starts infecting everyone on the island. And the island only has 1,667 people on it, but by the end of the film there's quite a few less, I think it's fair to say. But it's a classic kind of 80s in a snowstorm Christmas Eve horror film. It's not been done before in the way that we're doing it, and it's I mean it's we fell in love as we were writing it with the characters, with the things that happened to them, and it's utterly brutal, but it's probably most reminiscent of The Thing, actually. I think it's the closest, but it has the kind of build up of Jaws, where it takes a little while to start getting nasty, but once it does, oh jeez, it gets nasty.
Yeah. First of all, it does literally snowball in nastiness. But I would also throw in The Stand in there. We had to do basically character backstories and character development for not including like, just random people. Well, even just random.
No, even the randoms we did some for,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, even the random of 40 characters,
Hmm.
and it all just takes place in less than 24 hours as a tourist ferry um, goes to this island where they're supposed to do a little Christmas thing on the island every year, and a massive snowstorm strands the tourists and the locals in small confined spaces within the town
Hmm.
with the crab infestation and the and the Slimer goo.
Yeah,
Um,
so the virus infects people, but we wanted it to be original, not just other zombies.
Right.
It gets into your skin through being scratched, and these when it's in you, you become like a zombie, but you try to perpetuate the virus. So you do everything you can to spread the virus by scratching your victims, and once that goo is inside their blood through the scratches, they then turn quite quickly as well. And these are zombies more like 28 days later type
Oh.
zombies, but also very, very different. Like them, when you kill these things, they let's just say they burst. They have to try and spread their virus as far and wide as they can in their last dying moments as zombies. So it's pretty gruesome. And if you can imagine an island of 1,667 people, all infected, all piling towards you, that pretty much is how the film hits. So it's a really kind of, but the thing that we think we've done really well here is you never know which characters, because they all get built up, they all have backstories, they're all good characters. You never know which one's going to go next. You
Hmm.
never know who's going to survive to the end. And we are brutal with some of them. And we feel quite bad about it.
yeah, and the thing is there's also like incredibly touching moments, like
Yeah.
the way David and I write, where one of us will have the document for, either a day or even just a couple of hours to get out what we need to get out. And then, the next person gets it and does the reading and copy editing and then adds to it. And so I'm never sure what, might be in the script when I get it next. And, there are some tearjerker moments in there that I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And you also like change allegiance to some characters, which,
Yeah.
doesn't happen too often in horror. But our main focus is always the characters and the character development and the story. The horror is just how they react, to the situation. And I think that that helps make our horror stuff just a little bit different sometimes. Our cast is extremely diverse, like insanely diverse. And so we're really hoping that this will resonate with people that love all different kinds of movies in that
Yeah.
genre.
Cool.
I think if you love Jaws, you love The Thing, you'll love it.
I got a question for you. Is there a chance we could see like a crab-like mutation of the zombie, like virus, maybe? That would be killer.
Well, some of the crabs do get infected, but yeah, you might see some crabs towards the end of the film. Let's just say all of this happens between early in the morning Christmas Eve and about midnight on Christmas Day, so you don't ever get to see the full picture. So you'll have to save some of that for the sequels. But it's fair to say we've set up quite a lot that could happen in the next one if this gets made. So there's an awful lot of places this could go, and that, of course, is one of them. But you will get to see at least, let's just say, at least one mutated crab.
I'm down with that.
That's particularly unpleasant. But it's just very original. You're trying to steer clear of some of the boring zombie tropes that you get to see now. And I don't know about you, Brandon, but I quite like. I think we talked about this before. I like the fast zombies, the nasty ones.
Oh yeah, yeah, same here.
Yeah, they're the really scary ones, and there are so many jump scares in this film, and fake jump scares as well. So the idea with this one is that we decided we wanted to write. I wouldn't call it our blockbuster, but it's not far off. It's the one that would require more money than we can afford to make, because we want to have it on the shelf for when our other films get made and get recognition, so that we can then immediately say, look, we've also got this and we've also got this. And we're very prolific writers, so we're going to have quite a few films, mainly horror, but quite a few films up our sleeve ready to go for when we start meeting with people over John Sunshine, so that they can see that we're not just a one-trick pony. We've got all sorts of things lined up, and people lined up as well. We've got quite a lot of contacts in the industry now. We're really hoping that some of them will bite on some of the work that we're doing. And we're very similar writers. We write in a very chaotic, very fast way. And then we do this thing, which I think a lot of writers don't do, or they're scared of doing, or they don't like doing. We edit our own work to the nth degree as we go. So Alice will send me a script. I'll edit that down before I can even add anything to it. I'll edit everything she's done. I'll send it back to her. She'll look at my stuff, edit everything I've done, and then add to it. And it goes through an editing process as you go. And it means by the time you get to the last draft, it's pretty much a good draft. It's not like a normal first draft, which is about 60% right. When we work together, we get it about 85, 90% right on the first time, because how many drafts did we go through? Something like 24 or something on this. I can't remember before we got to the end.
Yeah, about 20, 28 or 29.
28 or 29. There you go.
Wow.
So we've got this really fast way of writing, and and editing as we go, which isn't usual. Normally you do the writing bit, and then when you go for the next draft, you do the editing. But we write, edit constantly, and it just means that we get stuff done really quickly, but really well. And we got similar taste in things. We like the same sorts of character development. While we quite like the cheap, cheesy horror slashy type films, we also want to make films that have real character, real diversity, and films that you care about and remember 30 years later, like Gremlins, which I still think is a horror.
Yeah. And like, to be fair, the last couple versions of Christmas, Bloody Christmas was us cutting down massively. So the final, what I would consider the final first draft, was like 138 pages. No,
it was, yeah.
No, was it over 140?
I think it was 141, the first one.
Yeah, and we got it down to 114.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're pretty brutal.
Without even changing the story or the characters or anything. And that's because of how we go through it. Like you said, is like, it's not even just about editing the news content from the person. We start at the beginning and go all the way through again. So every time we get it, both of us will start from the beginning, because we never know where something new has been put into the other person, which is really fun. But what's great about that is, like, it's sometimes like, oh, I wish, like, you're stuck on an idea, and suddenly, I'll get his version, and he will have just added one line, and I'm like, yes, that was it. Now I know what to do with my thing. And it's kind of like, it's fun and surprising, but we also love the copy edit process. Almost, I think, just as much, sometimes more, than the writing process.
It's weird. It's like watching a Netflix box series, binge watching. Like, you're desperate for the next episode, but for us, the next episode is the next version of the script, because we know there's going to be new stuff in there. And every time we go in, like, especially when you're writing a horror, like, I'll open up the script, and 3 characters who were alive when I finished off have all been murdered. Like, what's happened? So, but it just makes it exciting. But it allows you to go back, put clues in. It allows you to go back earlier into the script and make it more in depth, make sure the characters are more consistent, make sure they speak in the same voice the whole time. So yeah, it's a great process. We're very lucky to have found this writing process actually, because we kind of push each other to write. And I think it's quite easy when you're writing on your own to get lost for a bit and procrastinate. But when you're writing with someone else, it's like a tag team thing. You don't really get time to procrastinate. You get handed the draft and you know it's your turn. So you kind of have to go in and do it whether you like it or not.
Yeah, it's good motivation for sure.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
works. It works. But yeah, we're really looking forward to it. This is the film we want to make with all the people that helped us out the first time, Brendan. So, when we've made John Sunshine, a lot of people have done some amazing work, and don't get me wrong, we've made sure everybody has been paid properly. Everybody has been looked after on John Sunshine. We haven't asked people to do stuff for nothing, but people have produced, millions of dollars worth of work on something that we haven't spent millions of dollars worth of work on. And what we would hope to do is when we get to a film like Christmas Bloody Christmas, if we ever get to make it, that the people who got us here are the people that we will use in that film. And we're pretty good at looking after people who work with us and people who do a good job for us. And that's what we'd like to do going forward. Keep kind of using people with talent and potential that might not get away into the film industry otherwise, including actors and crew, all of them. We want to really help people because they're helping us. And, when you see John Sunshine, you'll be amazed how much we've done and how professional it is. I would be shocked if a network doesn't pick that up once we start. So, we've been working on the pitch deck in the last few weeks, the poster. Everything looks fantastic. Cannot wait to get it out there to people. I just can't wait. Although we've still got quite a few months of post-production to go through yet, I think.
Yeah.
I bet it would be fun to have it on Shudder out of all places. I love Shudder, and you remember they had Holliston on there, and Holliston was on I think IFC back in the day or something like that. Then Shudder picked them up and was replaying their older episodes. But I think it'd be a good place for your your series on Shudder. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, we've kind of written it for them. Okay, we'll have meetings with them if they like it, great. But it's kind of that type of thing. I think they're going to really enjoy it, and it's very original. It's very off the wall at times, and stupidly clever, I think it's fair to say. And that's not because we're stupidly clever. It's just that because we've written all 10 episodes, we've been able to rewrite everything to include loads of little Easter eggs and clues and things that when you watch the first episode, you won't even see. But when you watch it the second time, you're going to look back and go, whoa, okay. So that's what was happening in reality. So, we've layered all of that into that pilot, and the performances from the actors was sensational. Honestly, we were very, very lucky. The actors, every single actor we had in it just blows themselves off the screen when we're watching them. It's brilliant. They are so good, aren't they, Alice?
They really are. I can tell you, so we filmed one day earlier in January, some of the scenes that were not part of the main interview part of the film. And then we had everybody in cast and crew for the 5 days towards the end of January. And, we had done the table reads and we had done 3 of them. And, we had talked to these people for quite a long time. In fact, it is next Monday, a week from this Monday, is the 1-year anniversary from our first table read of John Sunshine. So that's really incredible that it still hasn't even been a year since the first table read. And it's like whatever happened during the table read, as great as those things were, this was just unbelievable. I was not expecting some of these performances from some of these young actors, and they're hilarious. It's heart-wrenching. They just went above and beyond. They all got along so well. They had never met each other. They've become, like lifelong friends. We're still doing stuff with them. So we all actually are all on WhatsApp, and chat with each other and on a regular basis. So we're still, this is John Sunshine is definitely family now. It's not just a TV
Yeah.
pilot that we filmed and we're one and done. We were hanging out with each other, in fact, and meeting new people and bringing them into the John Sunshine family. So yeah, it's just been such a great experience, and we cannot wait to share everything with everybody.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you to the premiere, Brandon, without doubt.
Oh, that'd be killer, yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely sort that out. It'll be great.
Yeah, yeah.
How long was the process with the filming and everything? How long did it take y'all?
7-8 days for the actual filming, but it's the post-production that always takes the time. I think 6 months will be most likely, maybe 7, by the time we've got it perfect. The problem is Alice and I are such perfectionists. Like we won't allow something that isn't perfect to go out there. So we will keep tweaking away at it and plugging away until it is exactly what we want. And it has to be perfect, because this is our showcase, right? This is the thing that we're going to go out and show people that we can make things. Look what we can do. And it has to be absolutely 100% spot on. And we're not going to release something out there that isn't 100%. So, credit, especially to Alice, who has funded the majority of this. We haven't cut corners and done things cheaply. We've done this properly. And there's a lot of time, effort, and money, but also love and care from everyone involved that's been put into this. One of the nicest things is all the people working on post, when they see it, they really get involved in it. They really fall in love with it, and it enhances the work that they do on it. So every time someone touches it, it just gets a bit better. We've got something. I think we've got something pretty special here to share with people when we get to that point. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to the actors seeing it probably most, I think, because they were in it, but they weren't in all of it. So for them to be able to see it from start to finish, I think is going to blow their mind.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're not even like aware of the camera angles that that they were shot at.
Yeah.
They say their lines and they think the camera's just on them regularly, but when you see the different angles of the shots and of the characters and the reflections in the mirror and the red light that we had in the room, I mean, it was really an amazing artistic effort, despite what the subject matter is. It was just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And we had so many wonderful surprises. We had to recast one of the characters, and we went from an older male to a younger female. And she was so fantastic that she actually allowed us to do more with this character, not just in the TV pilot, but for our entire storyline. We literally wrote stuff for her while David was in town, like before we started filming. Like the scripts had already been printed and everything, and we're just like, no, we need to make sure we can get her on screen more. Let's write in these couple new things. We didn't even tell the cast and crew. David just said the lines. It's hilarious.
She that particular actress, Bevan Victoria, is absolutely superb. In fact, all the actors and actresses are, but she really came in left field from nowhere and just blew us away. In fact, the next film we're writing specifically just for 3 of the actors that were in John Sunshine, because we've got the roles in our heads and they just fit these individuals. So why cast elsewhere if we can use people that we trust and know for that? Very different roles to the ones in John Sunshine as well. Very, very different characters, actually. But we trust them, and we know how much effort and love and work they put in. And when I see badly done indie horror films, it's often because you can see where the corners have been cut. You can,
Mhm.
the sound is bad or the acting's terrible or something in it. You just go, oh, you wish was better, I don't think we have that with John Sunshine, and that might sound a little bit arrogant and big-headed, but we set out to make sure that we didn't. We set out to make sure it passed all of the tests that it could be shown on network TV and be good. And we really think we've done something special, and we're going to continue making more. We're very prolific, as I said. We've written 10 episodes of that.
Nice.
Already. We've written a movie since, and we're now on to our next one. And this is while we're doing other things. I'm writing other projects. Alice is working on other projects. So this is like a third of what we do, but it's we're just able to squeeze it in somehow. I'm not quite sure how. I think I'm starting to lose it.
Yeah, I mean, we do make it a priority for us because we do want this so bad, not just for ourselves, but David and I have now made commitments, personal and professional commitments to people, not financially per se, but our belief in their skill. We don't want to ever take advantage of people that way. So, we still, both of us still reach out, to crew and check up on them, think of other ways of like, hey, who can we hire to do this?
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to do something with the documentary, and they needed to do an interview in Portland. And I was able to reach out to the film studio where we filmed John Sunshine and have them do it. And so we're not just, trying to do this for ourselves. We're actually building up a community of of people, cast and crew, and other companies like ours, especially in Portland, because that Portland is such an amazing film town. It's a great indie town. It's horror is their number one genre here. I think you saw that Mick Garris was at the Hollywood Theater in Portland, and I could have walked there. Like it's about a mile and a half from my apartment. And actually, David first mentioned that about everybody coming into town for a premiere, that's where I wanted to do it. So
yeah, without a doubt. And the other thing we're thinking of doing to help that population and to help in Portland is to have some kind of live film festival, which is another thing that we're thinking about doing later on in the year as well, using the people that we've used, using the locations that we've used, and encouraging people we've met along our journey to send their stuff into. So who knows what the rest of the year and what next year holds out for everybody. But this industry is full of very talented people who find it hard to float to the top of a lot of people trying to do the same thing. What we want to do is make sure we shine a light on those people and bring them with us as best as possible. And the ones that are on the journey and don't necessarily show the commitment or aren't necessarily on the same page as us, well, they'll have other opportunities with other people, but most of the people we're going to try and bring along with us and build something that's still around in 10 years or 20 years, not just something that is done for one pilot and then we never see anyone ever again. We're definitely not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love how you're building a community like that. I think it's so cool. And, I always dig y'all sharing everybody's stuff. You share my stuff. A little bit of like just sharing, like that helps, helps people get noticed and stuff like that.
Does, yeah.
I find it so hard with like dealing with Facebook and stuff. Like you have all these friends, you share what you're doing, your project, you get no shares. I'm like, what's so hard about hitting that share button? I hit it for you any day. You know what I mean? So just building that community like y'all are doing, I think that's fucking great,
Yeah, it's the right thing. It's the right thing to do. You encourage each other and help each other. And there are too many people in our industry, especially writers, actually, who want to tell the world how bad it is to be a screenwriter, or how tough it is, or how everything's doom and gloom. And there's a lot of people who feel like that because that's what they read on social media about how difficult everything is. And what we're trying to do is prove that actually you can do these things yourself, you can build a community, you can grow things and build things and do it in the right way, instead of taking advantage of people. And, we're really going to do that. We've Cordell Productions is all about that. Talking of which, because I have to put people first. I don't know if you know this, Brandon, but it's Eurovision night in the UK.
Cool.
Where all the countries in Europe sing really terrible songs, and we laugh at their costumes and cry with laughter at some of the dreadful singing. And it's a family tradition in my family to score them all and to have a big kind of party. So I've left them all downstairs for 40 minutes waiting to hear the last two songs before the voting begins. So I'm going to have to disappear in a moment. I'm really sorry to say that. I hope you've got enough for the podcast
Most
without
definitely.
me disappearing off to listen to Eurovision. Is that all right?
Oh, it's perfectly fine with me. I just appreciate you taking the time to talk with me again, so it's no problem.
Hey, always. And you know what? We'd like to keep you updated because we're working on so many things. It's crazy, and so much has happened since we last spoken to you. But just where we are in what we're doing has moved up 57 levels since we spoke, and only God knows where it will be by the time we next speak to you. But things are moving pretty fast, and big things are happening, and we want to keep you involved and keep you informed, and keep sharing your stuff, and you. I know you're helping us, so let's keep doing it.
Oh, hell yeah, most definitely. That's what we do. Community.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I can stay on, Brandon, if you.
Yeah. Alice is going to stay on. Sorry, Alice, I do have to disappear off, but I'll leave you guys to it. And I really look forward to speaking to you again. You take care, Brandon. Speak to you soon.
Yes,
Bye,
take
Alex.
care, David. But
Bye.
yeah, I love what you're doing. Like I said, the whole community thing. I'm trying to do that. Well, me and my other friends, we're trying to do that with the podcast community. We call ourselves the Four Horsemen of the Podcast Apocalypse. It's kind of like what we're going by right now, and trying to share each other's stuff, be supportive, and just help build a community there. And I think it's definitely a cool thing when you have a group like that supports.
Yeah, and I've been fortunate that I also have a great support community on Twitch in the music realm. So I'm friends with a lot of music DJs on Twitch, and I'm also now a Twitch DJ myself, and have almost 600 followers, which is not too bad, considering that it's pretty hard to get followers. And with and I did only just get started streaming late last year, but I've been friends with many of these people for now 2 years. We met during the pandemic, and we're actually, everybody's become real life friends, and we've all been through a lot. They're all always very supportive. They're our main John Sunshine support. We get a lot of we get donations from doing events on Twitch, from viewers, and they buy our merchandise because we now have 2 merch stores. And they're amazing. They've been supporting me and the John Sunshine Project since day one. And every day I get to share with them new, exciting news that happens, and they're just all really excited. And so we honored many of them. One of our friends donated a ring that David as Killer Joe wears. It's a skull ring that's amazing. Another friend donated guitar picks that we put into the pilot. We added the word hella to one of the characters' dialogue to honor the North California people. I dropped some of the cities from where some of my friends are from in it. There's a lot of them in it as well, to thank them for all of their support. And it was just every day they support me. So in fact, I literally did a 4-hour DJ set right
Wow.
before this call, and none of them wanted me to stop, and I was like, I'm sorry, I have, I'm doing this podcast, which obviously, I wanted to do, and that's why, like, I was like, oh no, I scheduled my um my DJ thing during our initial call time. So yeah.
It all worked out for the best, though. So.
Yeah, yeah. But, like I said, or like David said, and you're saying about building the community, and it's not just about, like, oh, is it, a director or a producer, or an actor. I'm sure you've seen or, know Neil, from Neil's graphics and his poster work.
Hmm.
Um, and he did our John Sunshine poster, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And so we just hired him actually to do the poster for Christmas Bloody Christmas. So we're just, really excited about getting that poster. And his work is absolutely incredible. I could stare at it all day. And he is really professional. He's so kind and generous with his time. Every edit that we had on the John Sunshine poster, he didn't flinch at it. He just, great. And he just did it and returned it like super fast. And so we're really, he's another person that we're hoping to continue, a longer relationship with as we, write and get ready to pitch, our newer ideas, is to engage him more often. So it's, it goes beyond just, the acting or, the crew type stuff, and building up this community.
That's killer, and like I said, with the artwork too that's done, it's an eye catcher, and I think that's what a lot of like indie films and all kind of miss on, or a lot of even the mainstream stuff miss on. Is like really good artwork to get you like intrigued to what's going on with the film. Like back in the day when you had to choose, like you're at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, like, oh, I don't know what movie to rent. Most time I would choose on the one that had the best artwork. It kind of draws you in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, we're just really excited to, we want to be part of the next generation of horror, whatever that is, whatever that means. That is our goal. Is to, not just write, even though like Christmas Bloody Christmas is gory, very gory, and bloody and and violent and stuff like that. It still really is again about the characters, and you know that's what we love about our stuff. And so we really want to make sure that anything that we write is always really focused on characters and character development. And we have backstories for our characters that we develop as the character reveals itself to us, rather than trying to force a character into a backstory, which is kind of another different thing that we do than some screenwriters, where they're like, well, I have this character, I have this story, and this is how the character fits into the story. We kind of just start a little bit differently. Even the names are just revealed to us. So as David was saying, he could have live characters in his version, and then the next time he gets it, I've killed off 3 of his characters, but it works. And almost never do we ever have a disagreement about that. Like, it's never a disagreement. We may change something, but it's only changed to make it better. So there's never like, oh my God, why did you change that? That's horrible. Um, you know, I can only think of literally one occasion in all of the time that we've been writing, and all of the stuff that we've been writing, was one episode of John Sunshine, where he didn't like the actions I had one character doing. He didn't find it believable. And then he was like, okay, I'll fix it. That was the only time that we've ever really had like that kind of I don't even want to call it an issue or a disagreement, because it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time, like, a perfect example is he wrote this character in Christmas Bloody Christmas, and he had what happened to her one way, and then I come in and I kill her, or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I give it back to him, and then I get to the spot in the script where I had killed her and she's alive again. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Only for something else to have happened after. So it was just like really funny that we were like passing this character back and forth a few times, and she kept being alive and then dead and alive and then dead. And, you'll just have to find out if she's alive or dead now. But yeah, so that's just some of the craziness that we go through in our process.
Yeah, it sounds like you'll have great chemistry and keeping things fresh with the back and forth, and you don't know what's going to happen next, so.
Yeah, and that really is a lot of the fun of it. With Now I know that ultimately our next script, the one that we're about to start, it's a psychological thriller. Um, you know, it's sort of John Sunshine like, in that it is an interview, but it's a bit different. And I think this is actually probably going to be our biggest challenge. We are doing a little bit more backstory development to start,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that for this one it's warranted. And I know I really have a feeling that the same thing we always do is what's going to happen is we'll be like, okay, this is the story, and then one of us will get in there to write, and it won't be the story at all. And then we'll hand it over to the next person, and it's never like, no, we have to go back to the story. It's like, okay, let's work from this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's again why I think, we're, as a writing team, separately and individually, or individually and together, we're a bit different. Because most people will write, an entire first draft, and then they'll go back and edit and blah 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 blah. Where, like we said, we do the rolling edits, so we're just never sure what if we're going to follow the path that we literally just talked about 5 minutes before it's happened. Trust me.
Yeah. That's killer, and I can't wait for what you said. Is it Scream Bloody Christmas? What was the title of that again? I'm sorry.
Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
Yes, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to that one just because big fan of the Thing, and saying there's some elements of the Thing in there really interests me.
Yes, yeah, it is really exciting. And David and I also like to do retro stuff. We love the idea that people aren't burdened and or have the conveniences of like modern technology. That some places that time periods or whatever that might have not been as diverse, we try to make diverse without calling it out specifically.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. Like, oh, we're not purposefully being diverse because the story isn't about that. It's just that's who the characters happen to be, just like in real life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's again really important to us. And we always explore, very human, deep emotions and connections and themes. So there's always some sense of, recurring theme of loss, and grief and family, and dealing with, the death of a loved one, stuff like that. So we just try to maintain that consistency no matter what genre we're in. And I think that, again, that works really well for our writing style.
Yeah. Like I said, it sounds great, and I like that. It makes you like you care for the characters. It's like you want them to survive. You put a lot of you invest a lot of like interest into them.
Well, we do like to kill off our characters, so let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Well, I just got finished watching the Saddening on Shudder, so pretty much everybody. Well, I don't want to give a spoiler, but a lot of people die. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the really great things with John Sunshine, is the our kill scene, I guess it is. And it was pretty incredible to witness it happen and be filmed. And it was actually pretty intense. I'm going to tell you.
Hmm.
A couple of the actors actually left the room.
Wow.
um, David was even like to the actor that he was doing it to. He was like, "Are you all right, buddy?" He was like, "Oh yeah, this is great." And then we got to see, we saw the dailies,
Hmm.
um, night of it, and at one point, we were just like, "Okay, David, come on, what are you doing here? Like, you freaking killed this dude." Um, and we had a retractable plastic knife,
Hmm.
and the sound of the spring sounds like he's just hacking away at us.
Oh
It's
man, nice.
brutal. But what's very cool is that all of our characters, the four boys that interview Killer Joe, pretend that they're from Cream Magazine. So we had them all wearing authentic Cream Magazine shirts.
Hmm.
Um, and each one was specifically chosen for that character. And what's awesome is the shirts are themselves a character.
Hmm.
Because you're like, that guy looks perfect in that shirt. Um, and so I had to buy two shirts for the character that gets killed, because he had to get killed in one version of it and then still have a clean one for other filming. So I have the murder shirt tacked up on my wall.
Nice.
And so it says cream, and it's full of stab wounds and stage blood, and it was very, very fun to go through that experience. And I gotta say, the both David and the other actor were absolutely amazing in it. And even though the current cut of it didn't capture all of what we wanted to do, and so, but very minor, um, it's it's pretty heart wrenching already.
Hmm.
Watch it, and I have, of course, watched it like 50 times already.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's just spectacular. Even the first edit is just spectacular.
That's killer. I can't wait to watch the whole series, and I will definitely review it on my website, which I haven't done a review in a few months. I've just been pretty slack on like doing reviews. Nothing's really inspired me. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
haven't really been writing any reviews, but this already has. It's been had my interest, and I can't wait to check it out when it comes out.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to see the official trailer for it?
I have.
Yeah. What did you think?
I liked it. Everything I've seen so far has been killer.
Yeah. Yeah. We're so excited about that trailer. Um, and I think it's very reflective of the overall tone, and the final product. even as it is right now. So we're really, really pleased with the work that our editor has done with it. He's gone above and beyond because he when we hired him, we sent him the script,
Hmm.
and he read it right away, like speed read it, and he was like, I'm in.
Nice.
And so he did the trailer for us, and which I really liked because it gave us a chance to go through the process with him to make sure he ultimately did get what we wanted and was going to be a good fit. And the first time, it was nearly perfect, but we had a few changes and we communicated those changes to him, and he came back just on a second draft with the trailer that's, our official trailer right now. And we were like, you know, you nailed all of our edits in all the right way. And we know it was a lot of hard work. So we really appreciate that. And we should be getting that second edit literally like in a few days. So we're getting really excited to see that, because we're pretty sure it's going to be just even better than it already is.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm excited for you. I can't wait. Like I said, I can't wait to check it out, and I can't wait to help share it around once everything's good to go, and throw it out there.
Yep, yep. We appreciate your support. You're one of our biggest supporters and promoters, and certainly one of the longest. I think you may just about be the longest, to be honest. So thank you for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I mean, horror and metal are my passions, and I do everything I can to get the word out there for projects I like. So.
Yeah, it's we appreciate that, and we know it's an underserved but very important genre and community. And as I am getting more and more um networking within the community, you really see how generous everybody is in the horror family.
Hmm.
And it is a small, tight knit family. There are millions, but even saying that, it still is very small, you
Right.
know, comparatively. And of course, when you get into like, women, or it gets smaller and smaller. But what I've found, which is so great, is that it is such an accepting community,
Hmm.
probably more so than anything else. It really is one of the most diverse of the genres and communities, um, and everybody's just so accepting. And it's fascinating to hear how um, what a positive effect that horror actually can have and does have for people. And it's actually helped me understand even my daughter a bit better.
Hmm.
She has been a horror fan since she was a child. And I let her watch horror as a child, even though I didn't watch it.
Hmm.
Um, and she finds comfort in it. And, her boyfriend, they've been together for a number of years, and he is also a diehard horror fan. And so they find comfort in it. And it's, I just think it's really great, that I'm able to connect even more with her and understand how, horror just isn't about, people being killed or killing. And it can have a lot of, really positive impacts on, the mental condition. And it certainly has helped me, um, with my writing it,
Hmm.
because I'm able to, um, you know, explore and safely, what's the word? I don't know what the word is. Um, immerse myself in, mentally and emotionally into things and get them out through other characters.
Right.
And so, with David and I's characters, there's always, obviously they come from us, but there's also always like little bits of other people and our experience, our individual experiences, that we then like somehow end up combining together so that every character and every piece of dialogue and every action is a joint thing. There's almost nothing that is written solely by one person.
Mm-hmm.
Even if that person is the one that wrote most of the pages of a scene. It's just all the little bits and pieces in between, that may have been tweaked and edited by the other person that now makes it what it is. And we know that we're successful at that, because we've seen, we have proof that people can act our dialogue and our characters,
Mm-hmm.
which, you can write amazing characters and what you think is great dialogue, but if it's actually not believable and people can't perform it, then you're writing a book, not
Right.
a film. And so it's we've seen the people take our stuff and do with it what we knew needed to be done with the characters and the dialogue, and they did it so effortlessly and naturally that we knew we've made the right decisions, both in casting those actors and with the characters. And as we wrote the other 9 episodes, to make the complete first season, we wrote these characters from the actors that are doing the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know the characters inside and out. And when some of the actors read future episodes, they were like, but that's what I say, that's how I react to stuff. And we're like, we know, because they're just so intertwined that the actors are literally the same in real life as they are as their characters.
Mm-hmm.
The innocence, the sweetness, the straightforwardness, sometimes the smugness, the emotions of some of these actors, as people are just like the characters. And that's why, they've all stuck with us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a job. How often do you hear of, people that just came together for a week and then went their separate ways, still remaining really, close and, chatting with each other on a regular basis and, meeting for lunch and, going to different states and visiting each other. So like all that stuff is happening, with this, with John Sunshine. So we really think we have something super special to share with the world.
Well, I can't wait, and it definitely sounds like y'all do have something special. You formed a family, and I think that's going to show when everything's ready to go and be released and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yes, and thank you again for like I said, your support and back then and now, we're eternally grateful. I can tell you that.
Well, it's my pleasure, and always got my support 100% from now and moving forward on. So, and so always count me in for support.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if there's ever a way to get you part of the family, we're open to that too. So you never know.
Yep, you
You
never
never
know.
know.
Wow, this has been great. It's great talking to you and David, but David's already left the party, but it's been great talking to you as well, both of y'all. This has been a really cool episode and really a lot of things to look forward to. So
Great. No, we really appreciate it. And I've already, let my Twitch family know that I was doing the podcast. And so hopefully we'll get some new listeners for you. Because they're all into metal and horror and music, and
oh yeah.
we're all supportive. So I'm trying to support and grow the community, on both sides.
Well, that's killer, and I appreciate that. And you're doing a great job with the support and everything that you're doing for the horror community. So it's very much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brandon.
You have yourself a great rest of the weekend, and we will talk soon.
All right, thank you, dear. You too. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye.